I've been thinking a lot about shadow work. Facing the demons inside of you, facing the unhealed sides of you. And for the longest time, I grew up Christian, right? And with how I was raised, it seemed as if that God was outside of your life, and he was looking down upon you, and what you did determined whether or not you were a good soul or not a good soul, and you kind of had to follow these like guidelines to get that like stamp of approval, which was a beautiful way of growing up in a way, because it's taught me, it gave me a moral compass. It gave me a moral compass as to what is quote unquote right and wrong, but it also allowed me to blame, to put outside of me what was happening internally with me, because everything external is a reflection of everything internal. So everything externally happening in your life is a reflection of what's internally happening within your soul, like what your soul is trying to tell you, to say, hey, we need to like work through this, or hey, learn to be a little bit kinder, like let go of some of these fears and this guilt and this shame. Those are the first two chakras, the fear chakra and the guilt and shame chakra. And shadow work, in my opinion, and this is just from my own experience, this isn't necessarily things I've read or whatever, this is just my experience. It's working through, or at least what I've been going through right now, as I develop through clearing my chakras, there will be plenty of things that come up as along the way. But right, for the past few years, I've been in my fear and my guilt and shame chakra, and working through those and recognizing habits. And so the shadow work is this idea of being intentional about your fear, your guilt and shame, because a lot of jealousy, bitterness, resentment, anger, frustration, all of the just attributes of us as humans that we all know and feel are not healthy, if that makes sense. They're not healthy. It's not healthy to be holding resentment, right? So this idea of shadow work is to recognize that you hold the power within yourself to be dealing with life's chaos, the things that life throw at you, to help you become aware, help you become aware of yourself and your true nature and your divine nature. So everything externally, again, is reflection of the internal things. So if you're internally holding fear and guilt and shame and bitterness and frustration and anger, which I was so bad at this. I would hold all these things within my heart, and hold an emotion for people that was anger or frustration, or I'm jealous at you, so I'm angry at you, all these things. And that's what the shadow work is, in the sense of recognizing that we've all been incarnated, born, brought to life down here on this planet, and then we all have our own personal journeys that we have to go through. We all have an internal journey to go through to heal internally, so that we can be reflecting that healing externally. And shadow work is just important, and a lot of the shadow work, like down to the brass tacks of it all, is when things like anger or things like bitterness or things like frustration come up, it's learning the ability to recognize it, to begin to separate yourself from the emotion. So if I'm feeling angry, I am doing my best these days, and obviously I'm not fucking perfect. Like, I slip up all the time and let myself fall into anger or these emotions that aren't healthy for the situation, and I will try to recognize that emotion of fear, and say, hold on, wait, you're fearful because of your individuality, your selfishness, because you're gonna quote unquote lose something, or something's not gonna go the way you want it to. And recognizing that, analyzing that, acknowledging that, and then finding a way to take a step back and say, hold on, that situation does not control my inner being. That situation does not state how I will let myself feel about the situation. And this is where love and forgiveness and conversation are so important, because when you have a loving heart and you just want forgiveness for the situation, regardless of how painful it might be, you will step into the situation with that intentionality. So it's a matter of checking yourself. Wait, I'm getting angry. Hold on. Wait, how can I transform this emotion and try to find the soul's journey that we're me and this other person or me and this situation are going through, and what can I learn from it? And what can I teach myself about me, how I respond to these situations, how I respond to tough, difficult, hard moments in life, right? It can teach you about yourself, and then once it teaches you about, once you can recognize that, you're like, oh wait, that's why I do that. I do that because somebody treated me wrong in the 4th grade, or my parents did this, or things like this. And it's not blaming them. It's recognizing that you took an emotion on. You took an emotion on when a situation happened, or just recurring situations in life. You took an emotion of victimhood, or justifying your anger, or allowing yourself to feel frustrated at that person. And not that the situation wasn't frustrating or making you angry. I totally get that. I've been through so many situations that I feel I have completely right to feel angry about. But it's about learning to forgive, learning to heal within yourself. It starts with you first. And then when those situations come up, you'll be able to flow through them a little easier, because you know your identity and your healing and your forgiveness happens first here. It happens first inside of yourself. And then that's what you will be able to bring to the external world. So I think shadow work is important, and I'm excited to learn more of the techniques, the ideas of shadow work, so that I can build a better framework for myself, so that when things like negative emotions come up, I have different frameworks to stop myself. Hold on, how can I observe this, take this in, and apply it to healing in my own life? So I'm excited to learn about a bunch of that. I've got some podcasts that I've been listening to. I'll link some below if you're interested. But yeah, this is just kind of my thought today. This is what I've been thinking about this morning, and I thought I'd spit out the idea. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd love to start conversations, build community around stuff like this, because this is so necessary right now, I think, in just today's crazy climate with everything going on. So I love you guys, sending love and light, and be easy.